Oh, we're so staying.
We're staying.
I love a good show.
The upcoming episode of Doctor Who, the Interstellar Song Contest, is set to change Doctor Who forever. At least, according to showrunner Russell T Davies, and writer of the episode Juno Dawson, have made it very, very clear there's a lot of shocks, thrills and surprises in store during this episode, and that while on the surface it may seem like another fun Doctor Who romp, it's in fact going to take a turn that nobody can expect. Join me in today's video as we preview this cataclysmically big Doctor Who episode where I'm pretty sure that half the season's budget went.
I love a good show.
But before we dive into our preview for the Interstellar Song Contest, let's take a look. I mean, it's that time of week again, isn't it? We've just had the overnights officially released for the story and the engine. Once again, weekly reminder, this number here, these viewing figure numbers, do not include iPlayer viewings or catch-up viewings or any of that stuff. So anyone like myself who watched it at 8 AM, your view is not counted in this overnight numbers. The overnights is purely an estimation of the people that watched it live on BBC One. You can go and click on any of the numerous viewing figure videos I've made if you want a more in-depth look at this. This episode scored roughly the same as most of the other episodes this season, with an overnight figure of 1.59 million, which in fact is on the upward trajectory. That beats Lux, and that beats episode 4. Historically, viewing figures always go down throughout the series. Sometimes, like when they used to put a Dalek two-parter mid-season, there's a boost to try and get momentum going back up. They used to put out mid-season trailers, but in these newer seasons of only 8 episodes, the trend usually goes down, 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 then a little boost for the finale. This is kind of fascinating because it's one of the only times, season 1 did it a little bit last year, but it's one of the only times where the viewing figures are sort of going up and down, up and down, up and down in terms of the overnights. And in my opinion, it's very obviously because a lot of people are watching it on catch-up. These also do not include the Disney Plus viewing figures. As for them, we have no clue. But yeah, there you go, 1.59 million overnight. We will soon learn the 7-day consolidated figure for episode 4, which is currently on an overnight of 1.5 million. We'll see where that goes, so stick around, subscribe, and we'll discuss it when it comes out. Let's just dive straight in, headfirst, to the Interstellar Song Contest preview. I've got a couple of extracts from websites or the official iPlayer preview page, or the Doctor Who magazine, all of which you can go and view if you want. Doctor Who magazine I would highly recommend. I'm not going to give away everything in these articles, I'll just read a couple of extracts. It's got a whole featurette on this episode and some really cool quotes from writer Juno Dawson. Now this episode, a lot of people, including kind of myself, but I'm more 50-50 on it after reading the Doctor Who magazine article, a lot of people believe this is going to be when we get the Mrs. Flood reveal. This episode is going to tell us who Mrs. Flood actually is, and I 100% agree. The only thing that's making me slightly sceptical of that now is the fact that this episode isn't written by Russell. He will have been involved, but surely Russell would be, he'd want to be the one to write the Mrs. Flood reveal, do you know what I mean? And 2, they aren't advertising it as a Mrs. Flood reveal. Now, maybe that's to catch us off guard, and she is gonna reveal whoever this character has turned out to be in this episode, or perhaps it's going to end where we see the Doctor and Mrs. Flood confront each other, but we don't actually find out who she is until the week after. Either way, I'm incredibly intrigued. Let me know whether you think it's going to be the Mrs. Flood reveal in the comments. The essential info for this episode. It is broadcast on the 17th of May at 8 AM on BBC iPlayer, then on BBC One exclusively in the UK, and on Disney Plus where else in the rest of the world. Now there is another interesting thing to note. That's a fingers crossed. If the football goes into a lot of extra time, they will not have time to air this on BBC One. This episode simply will not go out, which is absolutely insane. Especially after, we'll read the quotes in a minute, but Russell says this episode's going to change everything. And as I say, there's a very high possibility we're going to get our Mrs. Flood reveal in this episode. And the fact that it might not air on BBC One, because they've got the football, and then they've got a very brief break, and afterwards they have the actual Eurovision Song Contest. Both of those are prioritised by the BBC, meaning if they don't have a 47-minute time window to fit this episode in, it simply will not air, which is insane. Obviously, they'll find a time to put it on TV, but it won't be in its primetime slot at around 6 or 7 on a Saturday, which, does that change things? Who knows? As I talked about with the viewing figures though, this Doctor Who it's living in an age of streaming, but it would be a real shame if this episode is like the lowest viewed episode because it wasn't properly broadcast on TV. But we'll just have to wait and see. It's written by Juno Dawson and directed by Ben A. Williams. We have a synopsis here. We'll start off with this one because this one is the one that implies we will get the Mrs. Flood reveal. It's 2925 and the biggest night of the year. 3 trillion life forms from 40 million planets are watching the Interstellar Song Contest broadcast live from the Harmony Arena space station. Now, what's the betting that Mrs. Flood, or whomever the villains of this episode are, which, by the way, I think there's 2 of them. Freddie Fox is the only one that's really been advertised in, like, that's the actor's name, not a character. But this actor has been advertised as the villain, but there's this picture, which is in Doctor Who magazine. There's 2 of them. They both have their weird little devil horns, so maybe there's a group of sabotage people. But I think Mrs. Flood's going to be the real threat. And I reckon a lot of these 30 million people, or 40 million people even, or 3 trillion life forms are going to end up dead at the hands of these villains. The Doctor and Belinda are looking forward to an evening of fun, but someone is planning to hijack the event, putting everyone's lives in danger. There you go, I didn't even need to theorise that, I could have just read an extra sentence. Meanwhile, out in the audience, events take an unexpected turn for Mrs. Flood. Okay, she's got to... I don't know if we'll get the name drop of who the character is, but I think her evil plan and her confrontation with the Doctor will probably happen here. I don't know, I really don't know. I'm very 50-50. We do actually have a quote from the episode here, which you've seen in all the trailers. Rylan says, "Welcome to the 803rd Interstellar Song Contest." The Doctor says, "We're staying." Belinda goes, "Yes, we're staying." Juno Dawson says originally, because I think this was pitched back in like 2021, like way back when Russell was just becoming showrunner and all these deals were going through, but she says that when Russell first emailed me 2 years ago, he said he wanted Die Hard meets Eurovision, which I think is still within the spirit of this episode, but it's taken a very, very different turn, and it's got the Mrs. Flood reveal. I wouldn't be surprised as well if we get a musical number for Mrs. Flood, because, as mentioned in this article here, Murray Gold has written 4 exclusive, completely new Eurovision-type songs for these aliens to sing. One of them, I reckon, is a potential Mrs. Flood reveal song. But yeah, they've said it's similar to like the 2023's Goblin song. In fact, Christina Rotondo, who voiced Janice Goblin of Goblin song fame, is back in this episode, not as a goblin, but as an entirely new character, singing a new song at this Eurovision Song Contest. Interstellar Song Contest, sorry. So that's going to be interesting. I just hope that it's more Goblin song-like, unless there's always a twist at the end, like. But either way, I don't know. Neither of them were like top tier songs. I mean, they work tonally in terms of the episode, but like, give us them names. I can't remember what they got. Like the long song, that's a banger. The one that's like, well, I'm not going to sing it, where the lyrics are like, well, I woke up today when the 10th Doctor's getting changed, all of that. I can't remember what it's called, but those are really good songs. I hope they're more like that, but they will probably be Goblin song type songs, which isn't too bad. That was catchy. I could probably recite all the lyrics to the Goblin song because of how catchy it is, and I suppose that's a good thing for Doctor Who, to make it stick in people's minds. But yeah, it's cool. We're getting 4 new songs. Rounding this video up, we have a cast list here. Now, Freddie Fox's character, who I've mentioned, is called Kid. A lot of theories were saying maybe he's like Loki or a trickster god. In the story in the engine, they did actually name drop Loki, so perhaps, but I think it's probably unlikely. I can't remember whether in the story in the engine the Doctor said he had met Loki or not. He said he'd met a bunch of, like, he's met Anansi and a bunch of other gods, but Perhaps Loki, perhaps not Loki. It's also worth noting, obviously we've talked about Rylan Clark, who is in this episode playing himself. Graham Norton is also in this episode playing himself. And apparently they've been like cryogenically frozen, or at least we know Rylan has been cryogenically frozen, then awoken to lead this song contest, which it's a very fun Doctor Who idea. They mentioned in the article as well, there's a lot of running up and down corridors, so it's very new Doctor Who, but also intrinsically, the DNA of the episode is still very Doctor Who, base under siege, running around corridors, drama, big music, big bombast. I'm excited, and I'm here for it. Let me know in the comments who you think Mrs. Flood is, because by this time next week, we very well may know who this character is. The years-long mystery will finally be solved. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, as ever, please do remember to like, comment, subscribe and share. Podcasts coming out tomorrow. Whole host of new videos, Doctor Who stuff. Echo's Destiny Part 2, our final Echo Doctor fan film. It's on its way. I almost said coming soon. It's not coming soon, but it's on its way. A trailer will be dropping within the next couple of weeks. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Don't forget to click below and subscribe to the official Confused Adipose YouTube channel.
I will destroy you!
She's not seen a single episode.
No, I've watched your episodes.
Keep these sonic screwdrivers.
What else am I saying about the film? Don't watch this one.